All right, we'll get the meeting started. This is the Safety and Public Works Committee meeting, 7 p.m., Brainerd City Council chambers. We've got 5 items on our agenda, the first of which is approval of the local 218 liquor license. And presenting this is Chief Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 10 Buck Investors, which does business as Local 218, has applied to renew their Class 2 restaurant and Sunday on sale intoxicating liquor license. However, the applicant, Patrick Severson, was convicted of a felony in December of 2024. Staff is seeking guidance on whether to proceed with this license renewal. So our local ordinance really directs us towards state statute as far as deniability. And under state statute, if this was a new alcohol license, we would not be able to issue that new license. However, in the case of a renewal, it is optional. It may be denied or it may be granted. And I had conversations with the state, and there just really leaves the decision on the city. And if the city issues the license, then in turn the state will issue theirs as well. And Mr. Severson is present here, and I'm sure he'd be available to entertain any questions. And then also in the packet, I'm sure you noticed that he had written a letter to the council.
Mr. Chair?
Thank you. Yes, Jeff.
Can I ask Chief a question?
You bet.
What's the length of the license, the term of it?
1 year.
1 year, okay. And if there was some sort of something we did not approve of based on after we approved this license and after what we've read, is there a way to say we can revoke it according to our laws?
Yeah, as far as after it's already been issued, that's a good question. And if you give me just a moment here, I will look at the ordinance.
Okay. While he's looking, I will make a comment to the committee here that I do appreciate the letter that Mr. Severson sent, and I am highly in favor of supporting his request.
And I am not seeing in ordinance or in the statute it specifically addressing revocation of the license. I am just identifying basis for denials.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions for?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Davis, since the time that the license was in effect, any indication that we have had any issues with sales out there with under any issues whatsoever? There been any calls, anything to indicate that any malfeasance with this?
no, there has been none.
Okay, thank you.
Chief Davis, I've got a question, and I should probably know this, but do we have a limited number of these licenses that we are able to give out? Are there others waiting in line? Can you?
That I can't speak to. I apologize.
And
No,
Pat? Oh,
sorry.
oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't see the hand up.
Yeah, so I can provide some clarification. I don't know the exact number, but for alcohol only, so like a straight bar that doesn't really serve food, there's a certain number. But with this one serving the food and alcohol as well, there's not a limited number.
Okay, thank you. Other questions, comments? Otherwise,
I'd move to approve the application.
I'll second.
all right, motion and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Does the applicant know that we have to approve this at the council meeting yet?
So, yeah, so immediately following this, of course, will be on the council agenda, and so I'm sure staff will, at that time, will follow up with you as well.
And just a follow-up comment, I agree that the letter and being here in person and just taking this head-on approach was a huge factor in my position on this, so I applaud you for that. That's all.
All right, thank you. Item number 2. This is a consideration of an ordinance prohibiting the feeding of stray and wild animals. Community Development Director Kramvik, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So staff recently received a complaint in Northeast Brainerd regarding a neighboring property feeding stray animals. The individual that made the complaint stated the stray animals are creating a significant nuisance and damaging their property. Staff have also received complaints in the past concerning the feeding of wild animals and attracting nuisance animals that damage property such as skunks and turkeys. The Brainerd City Code does not currently prohibit the feeding of stray animals or wildlife. Essentially, they'd have to contact animal control to have those animals trapped on their property. Staff are seeking direction from City Council to potentially proceed with an ordinance prohibiting the feeding of stray and wild animals except for above-ground bird feeders. And I can answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Questions or comments for staff?
Mr. Chair?
Councilman Chesak.
Yes, James, regarding the person who notified you, it sounds just like their concern was exclusive to stray animals such as just cats or dogs. Is that correct?
Theirs was concerning just stray animals. Other ones in the past have reached out regarding wild
Yeah,
animals.
so what would have been their issue regarding the damage? Is there anything specific they said? I'm not doubting that, but
I think it was from what I was told, it wasn't by them, but significant amount of feces, I believe, digging holes under sheds, living under there on their property, and then eating over on the other property.
and then of course, I'd have to see the draft ordinance, but how do you propose to enforce this? Is there some idea you have about that? I'm sure other cities perhaps have something.
So enforceability, could potentially be issues, for code complaints that we get. At times, we do have to go into neighboring properties to take pictures, and that is an option. Simply letting animal control would be able to make them aware that there is an ordinance against feeding. But again, because it's on private property, it's a little bit more difficult to probably enforce, but at least there would be a code on the books then if council does want to proceed in that direction.
Would you be able to use, say, photographs or video footage of the neighbor who's concerned if the ordinance is passed and they say, here's video of that? Is that something the city could use for enforcement?
Typically, maybe to send out warning letters, making them aware of it. When we do start going through the citation process, we do like our staff to potentially do it if able. We're able to timestamp on our cameras. So that's the typical process, but at times, if we're not able to get that, we will use neighboring properties footage from if needed.
Thank you. That's all I got.
Councilman Yeager.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. James, we have an animal control system in place. We have animal control in place in the city of Brainerd. Is that right?
We do.
Okay. I guess where I'm at on this is I feel like this is just adding another layer, potentially adding more gray area and another layer to what would be, in my opinion, the recommendation to this neighbor to just say, we have animal control, call them, and animal control would deal with the situation in their own capacity. Animal control is not asking for this ordinance. Is that right, James? It's a neighbor or someone like that?
Animal control's not asking for the ordinance. I do know, at least from what I've been told, when animal control did come there, talk to the concerned property owner, they were told there's no ordinance pertaining to the feeding of stray animals, and that's kind of where they had a lot of concerns of why is there not. So it arose a little bit from it. Again,
Okay.
I believe animal control was working on potentially trapping the stray cats on that person's property. That'd be really the only way to alleviate it without some type of ordinance pertaining to prohibiting the feeding.
And if we had the ordinance, then what would we do? Sorry, anyone? John? Sorry.
Yeah, I think in the past, Mike O'Brien has typically tried to trap these, but without the ordinance. I think there has been occasion, and there certainly could be occasion, to where an individual could say, regardless, you're trying to trap these strays that I'm drawing in, I'm going to keep feeding them because I like feeding them. But you keep trapping them while I keep feeding them. And there's no repercussion without that ordinance. At least this way, animal control would be able to, if they're unwilling to cease, then we could start issuing citations if they continued to, feed them.
Okay, that's all.
A couple comments for me. Question first. So you referenced skunks, turkeys, now cats. Are these three separate complaints, and what's the time frame? And how many of these do we receive in a year? I mean,
I would say there's not a significant number. Obviously, we're not hearing all the complaints that people have It's just if they call in or not, but I would say maybe 3 on average that would actually contact the department.
And if there was a situation where it was egregious enough that it rose to like a public health nuisance or standard, do we have something in place that could handle? I mean, I know we've used that for some of our active code enforcement. It rose to the level of this is a public health, and we could expedite a little bit. Is there?
I would say probably not for feeders. Certainly there's a corn pile or something that probably wouldn't be a public safety concern. Junk and debris or garbage oftentimes leads to nuisance pests, so that's in the instance where we're pretty proactive on making sure garbage is removed, because that does lead to a lot of skunks and raccoons.
Okay. And I guess my thinking on this is similar to a little bit what I've heard is, for our active code enforcement, we've got photos, several photos, we've got, documentation, staff does site visits, so I guess I would need to see more than what I'm seeing here personally to support moving forward. And again, I don't know, like if someone's got garbage out and it's causing animals to come, I feel like we could handle it under our junk and debris. It'd be garbage and some of that's food. So, it's just a matter of what type of food in that case. So I don't know if maybe explore if we can use a public health. If we had a situation that rose to a situation, which I guess I'm not really hearing or seeing, but yeah.
I'd say that's probably the primary issue when we see nuisance animals is related to garbage. Again, there's just a few examples when people are deliberately feeding that will get complaints. So this is really not an in-depth ordinance for you to review the language with. It's just really, does city council want to proceed with staff drafting some type of ordinance or not?
I'd move that we move forward with the draft language, Mr. Chair.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, motion and a second. Is there, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign, and motion carries. All right, our third item is authorizing transit operations for 2026. And Public Works Director Mike Habegorst.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Attached is a resolution that allows the city to have the ability to enter into an agreement with the state of Minnesota to provide public transportation services for the city of Brainerd, Baxter, and Crow Wing County. This resolution is similar to those passed in the prior years with the state, and the agreement provides for a local share of 10% of total operating costs, with also 10% of total capital cost, with the state of Minnesota sharing the other 90%. Staff is recommending adopting of this resolution, and that we are able to allow it to enter into a grant agreement with MDOT and providing transit services. With that, take any questions?
All right, thank you. Are there any questions for staff?
I got a question that's kind of unrelated for Mr. Habegorst. Mike, I guess, well, sort of related, but with the county, their share, are they having to levy still, do you know, for their local share?
No, they are operating in a more of a positive balance, and so is Baxter, and so are we. Our shares are providing enough finances that we operate in a positive factor.
Okay. So there hasn't been any requests for funds from the county, or from the city to the county?
We just did our analysis, and after further review, there was an agreement for this year of operating services, and after we adopted the proper percentages with that, everyone is in the positive.
Okay, that's good to
So
know.
your report that we had the previous year percentages, and since that time, we've adjusted that. And I met with the county engineer just today, and we dove into that. And after reviewing the contract, the percentages had to be changed. And I'll be presenting an update on that after. I just want to triple check that before I send out and confirm any information.
Could you find out for our transits meeting, maybe this Thursday?
Yep.
If the county ever does levy for their transit services, is Brainerd, the city of Brainerd included in their levy? I think that's a straightforward question to maybe ask their.
Right.
I'm curious about that, because it's something I don't think we've ever determined, so. But
I can definitely look into that.
I'm in favor of passing this. Sorry about the questions, to take your time up here, but.
Other questions or comments?
Just real quickly, Mike, we've had this agreement in years past. This is it a yearly agreement?
Yes.
Okay, and we've had it for how many years? Many years?
Many,
Okay, very
that
good.
I'm
That's
aware
all.
of anyway, yes.
That's all, thank you.
We were considering on the consent, but because transit is sort of a higher topic, we decided to move it to this
I'd move
committee.
to approve, Mr.
Oh,
Chair.
I got one other, before you do that, if I could ask a question. So this is, it says in here both operating and capital. Is that, this agreement covers both of those?
Correct.
10 and 10, I think, right?
'Cause I remember when we spoke earlier in the week, I thought there was a separate contract for that, but this is all one.
This is all
capital
one,
and-
yep. That, when we apply for the grant, it's going to cover all of it.
Okay.
Yep.
So you said 10 and 10, though. Is that actually 10 and 15?
I believe
Like,
it says 10 and 10.
I know, but is that correct? Because that's always changed.
Yeah.
I mean,
Seems like in the,
This
during the
was
COVID, since the
the-
COVID years, it's kind of fluctuated
Right.
quite a bit, but.
Jesse, do you have any?
So pre-COVID, it used to be 85 and 15. That was kind of the standard number. After COVID, it kind of went to 100 and 0, and they've always been kind of with a goal to get back to those numbers.
okay. Well, I'll be asking you on Thursday, for sure.
Yes.
I mean, I trust you. You're confident in that then? 90-90?
Yes.
10 and 10, rather. Okay, thank you.
All right, with that, and I think I heard a start of a
seconded.
motion.
I
Motion-
seconded.
All right, motion and second. Only comment I have is the MnDOT item, and as an employee, I'm gonna abstain. But with that, all in favor, say aye.
I,
Those opposed, same sign. Of course, motion carries. All right, our fourth item, lost my spot here, is approval, Bolton and Mink proposal, new bridge inspection and rating. And Public Works Director Habegost.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. In review of our various water crossings, MDOT has discovered a box culvert crossing under Lum Park Road that should be listed underneath the bridge inventory. With this alignment and inspection, an initial load rating needs to be performed. And Bolton and Meek has done this with our other bridges here in the city of Brainerd. We have two others. And that's the Laurel Street and College Drive that is done. And they've done a great job with that. So we're just requesting that Bolton and Meek also provide an analysis of this bridge. And the new culvert, the definition is a 4-foot by 10-foot box culvert. And the new standard is anything on 10-foot threshold by the state is defined as a bridge. So we have to comply with that, and we need to get that inspected to make sure that everything is in good standing.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments of staff? Otherwise, I'd be looking for a motion.
So moved to approve.
yep, Jaeger, second.
All right, motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, our fifth item, this is going to be approval of final pay estimate for improvement 2311 O Street Outfall Repair Project. And looks like Mr. Habegost again.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Attached is an item for the final payment for this O Street fallout repair project. The project is reconstructed a storm sewer fallout in the intersection of O Street and 11th in the northeast section of Brainerd. The final payment releases the retainage of that pays for the turf restoration for the amount of $2,891.52. Staff is holding this amount until the spring, till we could really see that the seed is taking root and everything is looking really good out there. So staff is recommending approval of this final payment for the $2,891.52.
All right, thank you. Again, questions or comments? If not, looking for a motion.
Move to approve payment.
Second.
Thank you. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. That brings us to the end of the meeting.